Hi folks, it's me Michaela and welcome back to my channel. I am here to deliver you my May reading wrap up. And it's quite nice because Sunday is June 1st, so the timing for this schedule wise with both the calendar and how numbers work and my upload day works out really nicely. I love months like this. It means I can like clue the month up right as it is ending instead of having to either decide if I want to post it like a little early or like a little late. You don't care about this. Anyway, I had a very good reading month in May. I did not read quite as much as I thought I was going to, because if you saw my April reading wrap up, you know that I was zooming through some books. And I was still zooming a bit in May, but I had like a little bit of a hiccup because, in case you don't know, I live in Canada, and in Canada there's the May 2-4 long weekend, and for that long weekend I had my parents visiting, so I wasn't reading. That was also the same week I actually did an upload, which I haven't missed an upload in like ages, but I hadn't seen my parents in a very long time, so I was like, I'm not going to be spending time while they're here trying to like rush read books for a vlog and edit a video, because I just like didn't have to, and I have free will. I like had hoped that I would be a bit ahead of the game and have what I needed for the video done so I could post it still that week, but you know what, sometimes your plans just don't work out. I had too many other things I was trying to prep and do, so it didn't happen. But because of that, like, I also wasn't reading that much that whole week/weekend. They were here for like 5 to 6 days. So that like slowed it down. But in terms of the books I read so many good books. Let's talk about the month, okay? We'll start with, as usual, my little reading stats that I have on my iPad. Sorry, Hooper, I'm using you as a table. So in May, I read a total of 5 books. I had 2 mystery books, 2 romances, and 1 literary novel. All 5 of these were books that I owned physically, and I had 4 that were new to me and 1 that was a reread. In the month of May, I read a total of 1,844 pages, which averages to about 369 pages a book and 59 pages a day. So kind of because of that week where I wasn't reading as much, it kind of makes all of my stats for the entire month seem like it was just an average reading month for me. But really I had like 3 weeks where I was like zoom, and then 1 week where I like basically was dead. So fun how that works out. I also had an average rating of 4.5 stars for May, and we'll talk a bit about that, but this is a combination of reading some of my most anticipated books from my favorite authors and also the reread. So let's talk about those books. So the first book that I read in May was my reread, and that was my reread of The Man Who Died Twice. This was a 5-star read for me the first time I read it, and when I finished reading this, I decided to keep it as the 5-star rating. I did not re-rate this. That's because like, although like my second experience of reading it was obviously different because it's a mystery and I know what happens, but it still felt like 5 stars to me. I still felt like this is a really good mystery, and it has like really nice like high stakes and fun characters. I love the Thursday Murder Club. This is the second book in the Thursday Murder Club series by Richard Osman. It was like still a 5-star. It was just like a different 5-star because it was like that reread 5-star, like revisiting something you loved the first time, you know? If you don't know the Thursday Murder Club, like, have you been living under a rock? I don't know. But it's a lovely group of seniors who are living at a retirement home who get together to try and solve cold case crimes, and then some actual crimes start occurring around them that they can solve in real time. And it's very witty. There's a lot of like kind of dry, darker, sarcastic humor. It also has a lot of really great emotional points. I love having these elderly characters that we're following. It's a very different life perspective than I have as a young adult. I mean, I guess I'm just an adult now. I'm like closer to 30 than I am 20 at this point, so I'm still young. It's fine. But it's just like, I love this series. It's something that I love to revisit. And at the beginning of this month, I was just really wanting to continue my 2025 theme of rereads. Guys, at the beginning of this year, I said 2025 is a year of rereads, and it really is. I have more rereads planned, though I'm not currently doing a reread. And this was the only reread I had this month. But like for the rest of the year, there's still like quite a few books that I want to be rereading. And I just love rereading books. Like, that's why I buy them. Well, like, one, because I love them and they look pretty and I prefer to read physical books. But the other reason is that I love to reread books. And if it's a book that I don't think I'm ever going to reread, I'm really hesitant to buy it. That's just like my personal take on all of that. The next two books are ones that I read for my most anticipated releases reading vlog. The first one is One Golden Summer by Carley Fortune, and guys, Carley Fortune did it again, okay? This was 5 stars. Nobody's shocked. No one's surprised by me giving this 5 stars. Carley Fortune is one of my favorite authors. I have made it official after reading this book. So, One Golden Summer, we're following Alice, who is going back to Barry's Bay for one summer with her grandmother. She's in her 30s now. She was at Barry's Bay, what was it, like 16 years ago or something? It was like when she was like a teenager. When she was 17, she was there. Now she's in her early 30s. She's kind of like feeling lost in life. And she goes there for a summer with her grandmother and she meets Charlie. That's right. Charlie. Charlie, as in the brother of Sam, who is the romantic interest of Percy, the main character of Every Summer After. And it's great. The cameos of Sam and Percy are there. Charlie and Alice have this wonderful banter. I also love the personal growth that they both go through. And Carley Fortune just has this way of writing the most delicious, nostalgic, atmospheric summer lake vibes that I absolutely adore. And I also love how her romances have a lot more to them plot-wise than just the romance, especially with like relationships. I find all of her main characters have their romantic relationship, but then there's also like other relationships that are important to the character development and the storyline. In This Summer Will Be Different, there's a very strong like female best friendship. In One Golden Summer, there is the relationship Alice has with her family members, and I just think that like it's just done so well, and I love Carley Fortune's writing and I love this book. And I'm also obsessed with the Indigo exclusive edition. I think that the gold title instead of the like standard yellow is perfection in my eyes. So no notes. Wonderful. And then the next book that I read for my most anticipated releases was My Friends by Fredrik Backman. Another one of my favorite authors. You're seeing how my average rating for the month was like just basically guaranteed to be extremely high now, right? So this is Fredrik Backman's newest release, and I ended up giving this 4.5 stars. I know, it's like the first Fredrik Backman I haven't given 5 stars. I am also shocked and appalled by my own behavior, okay? But listen to me. It's because there's a dual timeline. There's a dual timeline in this book, and me and dual timelines have beef because sometimes I can really love a dual timeline. I love Carley Fortune. Basically every Carley Fortune book has a dual timeline. But there's some times when there's dual timelines where it doesn't hit. It's risky. Dual timelines are risky for me. And this was one that like wasn't quite working for me because it was the case where there was one that I cared for a lot more than the other. And I didn't really understand the point of the present day plot. In this book, you're following Louisa. She is a teenager. She's just turned 18 and she's run away from her foster home, but because she's 18, she's now just gone instead of missing. And she goes and breaks into a auction for a painting because it's this painting that's she's loved and basically has highly influenced her life. So she wants to see it in person. And then a lot of chaos ensues from there. And the other timeline is the story behind the painting. So it's following the artist and the artist's friends the summer that the painting was made. And I really preferred the like past timeline of the artist and the artist's friends over the present day timeline. I think part of it is that I found the relationships of the artist and his friends more intriguing to me, as well as I felt like the past timeline had a lot more commentary on art and art ownership and art's value, and also like identity of the artist. As you can probably tell from me talking about the book, the artist like doesn't have a name in the book. He's just called the artist, and I think there's a lot that you can take and think about from that. I also absolutely adored the way this book shows friendship, and also that our friends can be the loves of our lives, and I think that was done like so beautifully and wonderfully. The other thing about the present day timeline is that Louisa is a character that really had to grow on me, because at the beginning of the book I just found her annoying. So I didn't really want to be reading her timeline. But as the book progressed, you know, I kind of came to like her a bit more, and by the end of the book I did see the point in having the present day timeline. However, for like a lot of the book I was like, I don't understand why this present timeline is even here. It feels like it's just here to tell the story of the past, and I just like wasn't really feeling that. But I do still absolutely adore Fredrik Backman's writing. He has this way of like describing things that is so weirdly specific that I just adore it. So I gave the book 4.5 stars. I still really loved it, but it's like not my favorite Fredrik Backman, because basically every other Fredrik Backman I've read I give him 5 stars. The shelf is like very blue now. I had a very blue month in May. I then ended up picking up the only Carley Fortune book I had yet to read, which was Meet Me at the Lake by Carley Fortune. Because of One Golden Summer, Carley Fortune was the author of the month at Indigo, which means that I got this book for 25% off. So it just felt like I was meant to buy it. And I was like, this is now the only one I haven't read. I feel like I need to read it. I did give this one 3.5 stars. It was not my favorite of the Carley Fortune books. It is like a bit heavier in topics and emotions, and I didn't mind that, though I did just feel like I didn't really kind of click and connect with these characters the same way I did her other characters. I did really like Fern and Will. I wasn't having as much fun with them as I did with the other characters in the other books. I also felt like Meet Me at the Lake kind of lacked the lake summer vibes, which is funny to say because it's literally called Meet Me at the Lake. But because again, this is another dual timeline, but this dual timeline kind of didn't work for me as much, because instead of the other dual timelines Carley Fortune has, where it's like in One Golden Summer, it's all taking place at Barry's Bay, and it's either the past or the present. And in Meet Me at the Lake, the past timeline is like a singular day. So I didn't mind that, because that felt nice. It was kind of like you were getting a flashback of this one day, but it was just kind of being split up. So I didn't really mind that part of the dual timeline. My problem was that one day was all in Toronto, as in like the giant major city in Ontario, Canada. CN Tower, skyscrapers, glass buildings, all that. And I have nothing against Toronto, but when I'm reading a book called Meet Me at the Lake and I'm really wanting to get like the lake summer vibes, and then like 50% of the book is a past storyline that's taking place in a big city, I just feel like I'm missing the Summer Lake vibes, because 50% of it is gone. I only get 50% Summer Lake vibes. Yeah, it just like wasn't my favorite. Again, still really like Carley Fortune's writing. I still really like how this connected Fern with her relationship with her mother and dealing with grief, and her and Will really like coming to actually know each other after so many years apart. So that was all good, but it just like didn't hit the same way as some other Carley Fortune books for me. You are following Fern in this. She is now running is it like a resort? So Fern is like back at the lake running her mother's resort after her mother has suddenly passed away. And so she has never really wanted this for herself. She's dealing with the grief of her mom being gone, and also now the responsibility of running this resort. And then Will Baxter, who is someone that she met 10 years ago, shows up after she hasn't seen him in 10 years. And that's like where it goes from. So you're going 10 years ago when they first met, and then present day when they're at the resort. And yeah, it just didn't hit the same way. So I gave it a 3.5 because I still really like the writing and I still really like the characters. Like I said, it just like didn't click, and it didn't give me quite the same like atmospheric lake summer vibes as other Carley Fortune books. There's that. I've now officially read all of Carley Fortune's books, so I'm officially caught up. Call me a Carley Fortune biggest fan, baby. Get me a t-shirt or something, because that's the only one that I've given under a 4. Honestly, I think it's the only one I've given under a 4.5 even, so I love Carley Fortune. Then the final book that I read in May was The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. Guys, I only read like 3 authors in May because I kept reading books by the same people. So this is the 3rd book in the Thursday Murder Club, continuing the story. And guys, like, I want to be as cool as the Thursday Murder Club when I grow up, you know? That's what I wrote on my Fable review. By the way, I am trying to actually use Fable more, and I think I'm kind of liking it. So if you want to see some of my actual thoughts and reviews of books before my vlogs or my monthly wrap-ups, you can follow me over on Fable, because I have been really liking that. It's kind of the only place I actually write reviews, because on Goodreads I just like put a star rating, and on Storygraph I really just use that for the graphs. But I read The Bullet That Missed. So I've been wanting to get to this book for ages, because I've been trying to make my way through Thursday Murder Club, because there's 4 books and I had only read 2 of them. And I was like, girl, get on it, because you like this series. Why haven't you read it? I picked up The Bullet That Missed, but then at the beginning of the year, I was all, oh my god, but I love rereading books, and I love the Thursday Murder Club, so I should reread the first 2 books before I read the 3rd book. And then since at the beginning of the month, I finally finished my reread of The Man Who Died Twice, I was like, oh my god, let me pick up The Bullet That Missed. Let me pick it up right now. So I did, and I very much enjoyed it. I gave this 4.5 stars. It just like wasn't quite 5-star feeling, but me and Richard Osman, we get each other. We get each other with his writing, his mysteries. I love how there's somehow high stakes, but then you also are like not concerned. It's a very wonderful balance, because this is like a cozy mystery series, but it doesn't feel like cozy mystery in the way where it's like silly, you know, like people are actually dying, there is people doing bad things, but then like it's also fun. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like so good. I just really like it. It's like it's a good mystery and real things are happening, but then also there's just like really fun antics at the same time. So The Bullet That Missed, absolutely loved it. We got some new characters in this that I really hope are going to stick around, because I thought they were really fun and a great addition to our little group. And also, like, last thing I'm gonna say is just Bogdan. Like, I love Bogdan. I love Bogdan. Okay, there we have my May reads. So now it's time to clue up the video and all that. I have nothing else to say. I yapped myself out. If you did happen to like this video, make sure to give it a like, give it a little thumbs up. Happen to like me, consider subscribing. I'd be happy to have you. Do let me know if you've read any of the books that I read this month and your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me on what you thought of them? Are you also having a reading Zoom moment? Because when I tell you I have recently been Zooming, I last night was up until like 2 a.m., which is not like me. Normally I am a like asleep by 11 kind of person, but I was up until 2 a.m. last night, partially because I was just like weirdly awake, but also because I started reading Quicksilver and I was just like zooming through that book, and I have not zoomed quite that way in a long time, and I'm having so much fun. Like, I just love when I'm reading and I'm like, I love reading, you know? It's great. It's great. So all thoughts, let me know. And with that, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.